good morning, evening, or afternoon, whichever one's going on for you at this current point in time. I was called over to do some maintenance on a boiler or water heater that has not been taken care of in, I want to say, 4 to 6 years. But as I'm doing a little gander over here, you can see there is water everywhere because, just set you up right here. If you look right here, let me zoom in action. Let me get a light on that. You see that little white dot? That's actually the reflection of light because there's water here. Now, if you look at the floor, you'll see that I'm assuming this is all rice. Again, people flushing food down the drain. That's a big no-no. This is rice. Don't put food down the drain, okay? Use a garbage disposal. For reference, the original leak is right here at this joint. I did end up using a Gorilla patch to hold this one here about a week or two ago because they said it was leaking. Came down here, was splattering everywhere. This is warning 1, and now that you see that this joint over here, it completely came apart when I walked in. So if you pull this right here, the glue is completely done on that, and that's how I found it. I happened to just press it in pretty roughly so that it would, at the very least, allow them to use the water temporarily. But right here, you can see this thing is leaking. I've already told the individuals that live upstairs not to use the water. This is just residual water in the line. So let's cut, let's fix. I'm going to try to reuse this coupling. So I'm going to try to prime it, clean it, and then re-glue it. But this one over here, this one's going to need a 45 and a coupling at least right here. So let's stop talking and let's start doing. Let's do it. Happy Friday as of making this video. Coming in with the Odie primer. This works just to take off any dirt, any grime, any buildup on the surface. It's kind of like acetone or nail polish remover. But once that's clean, I can come in with the Odie all-purpose glue. This works for PVC, CPVC, and of course ABS. I needed something that was all around good. As you can see, there's still water coming out, so I'm trying to make sure I fuse this as quick as possible. A lot of people think it's actual glue. It's basically a chemical that causes the plastics to melt and fuse for a really good connection. I am so happy that I got to use this. As soon as I basically made a video not too long ago showing it, I got to bring it in and use it. The reason I'm looking down is because I got a big lump of grease or gunk or something in my tool. And I was kind of a little sad that my new tool is now dirty. But we have to get this done. This little elbow was broken in way too many spots for me to try to save it. So let's replace it. And yes, that is running water. I told them not to do it, but they never listen. Anytime you tell somebody not to do something while you're doing a repair like this, have a bucket. And this is when we tell them, don't touch the water. And what do they want to do? They just want to touch the water. Just take a moment to appreciate the smells that are going on in this room right now.
That smelly smell that smells smelly.
Oh yeah, I immediately took off and started grabbing valves. I'm closing hot, I'm closing cold, I'm closing any way for these people to keep raining water. Do not be afraid to let them know I'm cutting the water. But that's not fair, that's rude, that's disrespectful. How could you cut them off from water? That's a human right. Calm down. They are literally raining gunk over my head while I'm trying to fix. It's not a big deal. Very simple. This stuff needs a certain amount of time to cure, and so if you're causing me to not be able to do my work properly, I'm pretty sure you're going to be annoyed when you look down and that job I just did is now leaking. This thing needs to be primed, it needs to be glued, and it needs to be cured prior to heavy use. Luckily, this is not a pressurized line, but, you know, be considerate of the people that are working too. We're putting glue on both the connection as well as the pipe itself. The coupling needs just as much product as the pipe, so you get that nice good connection. If you forget one or the other, don't be surprised if you may come out with a leak. Try not to get chemicals on your hands. Please wear gloves when you're wiping off the excess. I was stupid and didn't bring any gloves, but I don't like messy joints. Now, in case you can't tell, this is my first time doing any jobs like this, so I would greatly appreciate, just let me know how I did. Are you a plumber? Are you somebody who's done plenty of connections like these? Did I miss something? Should I have added something? Greatly appreciate the words of advice. Measure twice and cut once. Now I am kind of eyeballing this because I know I can manipulate the lower portion of the drain back. Biggest thing is to make sure that your drain is neutral and then goes downhill. The last thing you want is an uphill or awkward joint that causes there to be an issue with the flow. Need a little more. Need a little bit more. Take this time to look through the entire pipe, not only the sections that you repaired, but also any other points that might be leaking. Remember, if they see something after you leave, they may think it's you. So you want to report something before there's an issue, follow it all the way down to the outlet, and they don't have this thing secured to the floor. It's just kind of pointed at the output. So that's not my problem, but something I would definitely fix. You could always add like a 22 or a 45 straight down. And the last thing I'm going to do is give this a wipe down with some disinfectant wipes. Not only is it just nice to see a difference when you leave, it also helps you spot leaks in the future if they're not covered in dirt. And this is the only waste we created. Yucky. You can only imagine the smell down here, by the way. I'm blind! Well, I guess you guys are too. Anyways, until next time, work smart, wear gloves. See you in the next one.